We want to turn to the panel. Swati Tyagarajan has been monitoring the environment for a long time. I said the immediate crisis is air pollution. And of course, we've got the man himself, the member secretary of the Central Pollution Control Board, Dr. Prashant Garg, who's going to perhaps tell us how bad it is. It's also great to have with us Apurva Bhandari and Jaydar Gupta, both with us as well. Ambika is here as well. Swati, I'm just going to hand it over to you to try and figure out some of the solutions. But before I do that, I just wanted to ask you, you know, we keep using this Game of Thrones reference to say winter is coming. And that's really the way all of us in North India feel. Winter is coming. We are seeing that it's the 2nd of October today. 1 month from now, we're going to be gasping for breath. It's going to be a choke. The skies are going to be hazy. We're going to be panicking and it's going to be top headlines. And unfortunately, we can see it coming. And every year we keep hoping it's going to be better this year. Is it going to be better this year?
It is going to be better this year, certainly.
I feel like saying, "Aapke muh mein ghee shakkar."
In fact, the past experiences also indicate that we have been able to improve air quality in Delhi and also North India. And we have been working with a very clear strategy. We have been tackling all the sources together. It's not just, industries, be it road dust, be it vehicles. So there are, different sources which are being tackled. B, we have very clear approach in terms of use of technology as well as enforcement. 3, there are big policy initiatives, moving to BS6, leapfrogging in case of auto fuel, then tightening of standards, be it power plants or cement, and surveillance, through remote sensing, online surveillance in the major industrial sectors, to enhance our enforcement capacities. So a whole lot of activities that are, moving together. In addition to that, since you talked about, Delhi winter, the 41 teams from Central Pollution Control Board, we have been doing it proactively. There are different agencies who are involved, but our own teams have been deployed in Delhi and other NCR towns, which are giving direct feedback from the ground to the concerned agencies. कि कहीं पे भी कुछ मिलता है तो कैसे उस पर एक्शन ली जाए. तो मुझे लगता है कि there are a whole lot of things that are happening in case of crop residue burning. Farm implements are being distributed in Punjab and Haryana, and hoping that this is going to be reduced this year. So I'm pretty confident. I always work with positive mindset. So we are doing our best, doing everything that is possible in a very strategic manner.
Swati, is that going to be enough? Remember, we spent some time trying to create an air pollution agenda. So maybe we should try and table the specific items that we had.
दो चीज़ें अगर ठीक हो जाएं तो I think it is very promising, very promising.
We sort of decided that existing laws need to be enforced a lot better.
Challenges and opportunities.
If not, maybe states like Delhi and Bombay and many places, the laws are just not enforced. When you go to places and you see the spewing stacks of chimney from brick kilns and you see the industrial waste, you see the kind of pollution that goes on, or you even see polluting vehicles, we really don't have a standard on which these laws are enforced in a really strong way. I think apart from air pollution on the outside, one of the big things we should all be looking at is indoor air pollution. That affects directly over 500 million people in this country. I think something like 1.6 million deaths in the country are attributed directly to indoor air pollution. And this is a problem because you're trapped inside your house. And this is not just, I'm not just talking about in rural areas or villages or in urban settlements where they're cooking inside the house. Certainly there's a bigger problem there because they use kerosene and they use wood, things that obviously cause the fumes to come out and they're inhaling that directly. But in our own homes where we think we're all right, when we leave outside and come in, even with our, we have those air cleaners or whatever, the problem is that trapped air is a lot more toxic for us than external air pollution. So this is a major problem. So in our agenda, we had said we must focus on indoor air pollution as well. So I want to go across to Jaydar because he's a direct sort of example, a case study on what happened. You used to run marathons and then you found yourself struggling to breathe and you actually had a lung ailment. So why don't you tell us, because you had a direct, problem with it.
Actually, my journey started about 5 years ago when I was running and training for a half marathon. And one day I started wheezing, and before I knew it, I was in a hospital on a ventilator, and I had lost about 40–45% lung function. And prior to that day, and actually prior to my realization that my ailment was due to air pollution, I always believed and I was always told that you are what you eat. And you know, we eat and drink about 5 to 7 liters a day. We consume 12,000 liters of air in a day, in a single day, and a lot more if you're exercising. So I'm going to tell everybody today that we are what we breathe. We are not what we eat. We are not what we drink. The other thing is that, you know, even the government in Delhi, and I'm seeing a lot of these articles about them putting these external air purifiers in crowded places. You know, we spend about 22 hours in a day indoors. On average, 20 to 22 hours in a day. So I would say, I think the focus needs to change to schools. It needs to change, you know, children are the most susceptible. You know, children have developing lungs. They're always bouncing. They're breathing more air. They're breathing the air deeper into their alveoli. And I mean, I also want to mention that today the air quality, we're sitting on this beautiful beach. You know, this is how tricky air pollution is. It's 135, PM 2.5 right now is 135 on the beach in Mumbai. It's worse today here than it is in Delhi. And I know that, you know, Mumbai and the rest of the coastal India thinks that they're insulated by all this beautiful sea breeze. But I have a monitor right here that's showing a level of 113, slightly more than Delhi today. This is equivalent, if you stayed in this air quality, you're smoking 5 cigarettes today.
I left Delhi to come here for the cleanathon saying, isn't it great? And now you tell me that.
I'm so sorry.
But I have to say, 113, for those of us who live in Delhi, we are saying, what are you talking about? This is like being in Switzerland, right? 113.
I think what is the
level that should be?
Sir, the WHO safe level is under 15 or a 24-hour average of under 25.
Under 25?
Under 25 micrograms. The Indian safe level is under 60, which we've never met in North India.
The standard is for 24-hourly average exposure, which is 60 microgram per meter cube for PM 2.5. And what this machine shows, of course, you know, one needs to check, you know, how, you know, calibrated this is, but these are only showing the instantaneous values. So unless until one is exposed to more than 60 for 24 hours a day, then probably the impact would not be that much what an instantaneous value what he is indicating.
So you mean to say that you have to be
How
exposed
pure
to
is that machine of yours?
No, it's a reset certified machine. It's it's the reading is gold. I mean, we can rely on it. You know, air pollution is tricky, and that's what the point I wanted to make. You know, we in general have an apathy towards the health and environment. I want to also talk about myths. You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's not as bad as it seems. Well, there's no way for your body to know how bad it is. You know, I could see out of my aircraft landing in Mumbai this morning that it was going to be a really bad day in Mumbai because I could see the haze. I couldn't see the buildings.
I just want to say, related to air pollution, we have Pura Bhandari with us. He is, you know, Sankalp Tharu. We tied up with them for this whole tree plantation thing that we've been talking about. And his is very interesting because it's the digital platform on which to do tree plantation. And I think he wants to take us a little bit through that.
But
Mr.
actually,
Kirba?
before you do that, I just wanted to ask you a question. Because we are focusing the whole day on saying we must plant trees. That's the main aim today, is to say, tell all of you, go out, plant a tree, look after a tree, post pictures of it. And that's what we're pushing people to do. Does the plantation of trees actually have a measurable impact on air pollution? It may seem obvious, but I'm just asking whether there's scientific evidence to
So definitely it has. So as an average, a tree sequesters around 1 ton of CO2 in the entire lifespan, provides oxygen supply to enough oxygen supply for 2 people for a year. So or 4,100 liters of oxygen is produced by a tree. So those kind of stats we have, definitely it has very positive impact, as well as just to add to air pollution, like this aspect, like now there is an acute need to have green lungs for cities, because we've been talking about indoor air pollution or outdoor air pollution. You know, now we need to sensitize residents, societies to not plant ornamental trees, but plant those kind of trees which really sequester carbon dioxide. So that's something there.
So what kind of trees are they?
So we have figs, fig, people, neem, yes, definitely, these kind of trees.
Vikram, I just want to go on record in busting another myth. So trees have no impact on reducing PM 2.5. Our urban India problem severe problem is PM 2.5 because it is a carcinogen. Okay, and not
Is
minimizing
all
trees.
PM 2.5, just to ask you, Ambika, to get this, is all PM 2.5 equally bad? Because some of it is dust, which is coming in, we keep hearing it, some of it is dust, which is coming in from Arabia or various other places. Is that as bad as the PM 2.5 you will inhale from smoke?
Swati, do you want to take that? Because I
2.5 across the board is pretty
What is
bad.
P- what is
Okay, so
PM2.5?
it's the size of the
Particulate
micron of the molecule that you're inhaling. Now, a PM10 particle is less dangerous because our lung capacity to be able, for the molecule to be able to penetrate the lung
What does
is
PM
more
stand for?
difficult. PM is particulate
slightly
matter.
bigger.
So
Particulate
particulate matter. So when it's 2.5, it means that it's small enough to penetrate directly into your lungs, which is why PM 2.5 is such a problem.
I take this in a little.
Maybe PM2.5 is the bachchan. Primarily originates from combustion-related sources.
Huh?
Combustion-related sources.
Okay.
Car engines.
Vehicles, burning. So these are essentially carbonaceous fractions, which otherwise also are harmful. And being smaller in size, they get deep into the lung. So that's what is the problem. Now PM10, the coarser fraction, major things come from road dust and other kind of things.